Welcome, Late Horror Show. What's going on? Dave Plouffe has assimilated the rudiments of arithmetic. He will explain that in a second. But before that, we are going to play the Late Horror Show horror-themed intro for Columbo. Here we go.
Is it just me? Or is it getting crazier out there?
25 thumbs up, Dave. Is this a Columbo that people don't like? I don't know. This was a pretty good one.
They'll like them. They'll like them.
Okay. Hey, everybody. Welcome to Late Horror Show as usual. And this week we're doing Columbo. We are doing season 5, episode 5. Now You See Him on February 29th, 1976. And you definitely start getting a little bit more of a different feel. And I'll talk about that during this. You're getting towards it. What's going on there? What?
Sorry.
Oh, yeah.
Turn it on the episode so I can watch it with us.
Oh, okay. Got you. Yeah, don't get us in trouble. Anyways, let's say hello to everybody. Hey, Duck Dodgers, what's going on? John Mickey, Ed Stathis, Tune the News. Kathy, hello, what's going on? Sweet Indigo, Duck Dodgers, Kevin Muser, Black Roses, I think I said that. Brian Kirkham, Connie Clary, of course, Glenn Dunaway, Andrea Black, who I think is Tune. Am I wrong? I think it is.
You're
anyway,
right. Yeah.
Ed Stathis, good to see you. But yeah, Dave, another Columbo. This is going to be good. Next week we have Kolchak, and that's going to be the Spanish Mouse Murders. That's going to be a good, interesting watch.
Yes, also with Richard Keel.
Yes, Jaws. You know, the big 7-foot tall guy, whatever. This is very interesting. This is an interesting episode. We popped from early to 1976. Go ahead, Dave. What?
I'm sorry. Are we looking at an early episode? Are we still talking Kolchak and what's happening?
Oh no, we're talking Columbo now.
Okay. Well, and you mentioned it a little bit last night.
Okay.
2 weeks from tonight is an exciting thing because hold on.
Yes. 2
weeks from tonight, we've got our friends from the Columbo Confab podcast are going to join us.
Yes.
Sean and Steve. And if you're into Columbo, there's 5 Columbo podcasts out there. Only 2 of which are any good.
Yeah.
The Just One More Thing podcast is pretty good, but I've always loved Columbo Confab. They've agreed to join us. They currently do a Murder, She Wrote podcast. They're fantastic. They're fun. They're alcoholics. We're going to have so much of a great time. So,
you know they're alcoholics. Oh boy.
You have no idea. You know, they got their shows for about 2.5 hours is their normal podcast length.
It sounds like an episode of the Late Horror Show 7 years ago with me and Ted.
Oh, wow.
We would do 2.5-hour shows and not that we were drunk, but we were goofy as hell. And it seemed like it at times. We were just bonkers because it's like we were just talking to each other and having fun and cracking up and stuff like that. So I'm looking forward to.
Well, that's what these guys do. They go down these little rabbit trails, and it's so fun to listen to. And you know so much about their lives.
Yeah.
Outside of just the program that they do, kind of like a commentary on, like you and I do.
Right. Exactly. Hey, James Jameson, what's going on? Good to see you. Love Columbo. Yes, it's good. Jughead, what's going on? Where can I find Kolchak's full lineup of episodes? Do a search. I don't know what to tell you. There's some of them on YouTube, some, but not all. But I'm sure you can find them on archive.org or whatever else. You and Ted are a scream on the streams, Dino. Thank you, Connie. I'm still hoping to get Ted back here to do some fun streams again. I'm going to be doing a casual commentary with the Death Twitch. I haven't done that in probably like 4 or 5 years. I don't know how long it's been. Goofiness galore.
That's Eric, right?
Eric, yes. Eric with the Death Twitch. And we have a riot talking about horror films from the 80s, cheesy horror films. But anyways, we're talking about Columbo, and now you see him, and it's the Great Santini episode. Okay, you know what I really enjoyed about this one, Dave, was I enjoyed the sergeant because he was somewhat of a sidekick in this episode.
Absolutely.
Totally different from the past episodes where they get out of here, you know, Columbo, you're getting it, you know, or just having it. They were totally together working, and he was the sidekick. So
yeah, and he's going to be the sidekick in 2 episodes. One of the ones, the first time he was on was like season 1.
Yeah,
I think it's episode 2 or 3. It's not one of my favorites. Ray Milland is the murderer in that one. But Bob Dishy plays Sergeant John J. Wilson. And definitely, I wish he would have been on more episodes.
Yeah, Bob as his like kind of sidekick, because he's the sergeant, Columbo's the lieutenant, and it's the actor's name is Bob Dishy. Again, of the period, you would know his face. I mean, lots of TV stuff and stuff like that. So Brian Kerr, last time I remember talking about Ted, he got some article he wrote published in some Monster magazine. Yes. Hasn't done nothing since, but he does have something published in there. So anyways, yes, I like that. And I also like when they're in the cabaret of magic, where the Great Santini performs nightly, every night. Did you notice, and this is kind of wacky, but I noticed little things like this. The hairstyles of the decades, that's what I call it. You had the very old people in there, the older, like, you know, what, I'm not going to say ages, but the older gentlemen and women who they had their hairdos from the 40s and the 30s. Did you notice that?
I did.
And then you had some women who fit in that 50s era who had the 50s hairdo. And then you had some women and guys in the 70s that had that 70s thing. And there was even a woman in the audience who had a pimp hat on.
I will let me even tell you this. With that hat, didn't she look like Marion Ross from Happy Days?
Oh, okay. Yeah. No. Yeah, I think so. A little resemblance.
I had to literally go to IMDb years ago going, that's got to be Marion Ross, just on, you know, in there. But it wasn't. So
No. But I noticed that, and it was something I thought was very interesting, that because you've talked before in the past how they've brung in either with Kolchak or, you know, a lot of the made-for-TV stuff. You know, a lot of the old actors from the 30s and 40s would play these bit parts and even sit in the audience and stuff. Probably happened here too.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah,
100%. Yeah. And that room was so amazing.
Oh God, yeah. The cabaret of magic.
Yeah, you've got a bar, you've got these nice little tables, you've got Victorian chairs. You know, they look like something right out of an old mansion.
Oh yeah.
And it was just so. This was a place I would go to, but we didn't really have things like that. I mean, maybe we have the Magic Castle, but that's
you
really
being in California, you think the old comedy clubs and like places like that might look this way, but no, you haven't been in anything like that.
Nothing that I found.
Yeah, and did you see the kitchen? I mean, there was like 50 people working in there in like a 20 by 20 foot area cooking up food, and I'm like,
yeah, but I'd never eat there because on the roast beef they cut it lean. Cut it lean, keep it flying, is what the guy said.
But I'm like, man, they're eating, chowing down, they're pushing out the food. Okay, so James Jameson says, was the Great Santini wearing a wig? I don't believe that. That's Jack Cassidy. He's been in I think with the first episode that we talked about, but he plays the Great Santini in this. And again, a few years older, but he looks almost the same. Maybe a little thinner, Dave. That's about it. But he plays the magician pretty good. I mean, he does a good job at playing the Great Santini. I would say that some of the illusions and some of the tricks just are very old school. And I'm like going, oh God, are we really going to do this? But anyways, hey, Freddie Miranda, what's going on? Good to see you. Good to know you. Good to have you in the chat. Yeah. Yeah, yeah. And then we got others like you can touch on. We got Robert Loggia playing, I think, the manager of the place.
He's the maitre d'.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. And what's great, and ironically, because I hope in maybe 3 weeks from tonight, we will cover the first episode of the Wild Wild West. I'll talk to you about that afterwards. But
Yes, yes.
Robert Loggia in this episode, and the last one we covered, Mrs. Paul Galesko, the woman who got murdered,
Uh-huh.
they starred in an episode of the Wild Wild West together where they were the antagonists back in the 1960s. So just ironically, people of the age, they were always in all the different TV shows.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. No. That very cool. Very cool. Yeah. And yes to the Wild Wild West. So yeah, Robert Loggia, he plays Harry Blanford. Not a big part in this. He's just running around back and forth, just in the back scenes almost kind of.
I was hoping someone would have a piano
Yes, that would have been
where
nice.
the keys would be on the ground and he could dance like he did in Big.
Oh boy. Yeah, memories. And we have Della, Dave. Della, very beautiful. Cynthia Sykes. It's the Great Santini's daughter, who the Great Santini, we're going to find out, isn't really the Great Santini. But before I get to that, we also have Patrick, who is Della's boyfriend and singer, who
Patrick's real life name, but in the episode, Danny Green.
Oh, in the episode, it's Danny Green.
Yes.
Really?
Yeah.
Wasn't Patrick just Patrick?
Patrick Coulaton.
Okay, I don't know how I did that then. And then we got Jesse Jerome. He's the owner of the place.
Now, Jesse Jerome is just a fantastic actor. Nehemiah Persoff, who is actually in the first episode of the Wild Wild West. He's in the pilot.
Really? Okay.
Absolutely.
Nice.
He just died about a year ago at 102 years old.
No way.
Yep. And he was active all the way to the very end. Besides acting, and there's a book about him. It's called The Many Faces of Nehemiah Persoff. He was hundreds of character actor bits and movies. He was also a very famous artist and produced art. So
really? Okay. I did not know that about him. Okay. Well, I see I'm learning stuff too here. Overkill. What is going on? Overkill with an O.
Now, if I also wanted to ask you too, do you think, and it's weird watching these older TV shows, being the ages we are, do these people look older than us or younger than us?
Definitely older. And
in this episode, Jack Cassidy is 5 years younger than how you and I are today.
What? No. Well, I'll tell you what.
Don't smoke, boys and girls.
Well, I was going to say that's one thing. It really aged the face back in the day. I don't know. But I think 30s, 40s, 50s. I mean, I don't know what decade people started looking younger at an older age. Maybe the 80s started happening. But before that, prior to that, especially the 40s, like when you see a movie with Humphrey Bogart, you think, oh my God, this guy's like 70 years old. But no, he's a young 29-year-old. And I'm like, what? But that's how it was with the actors of the 30s and 40s. Not the women. A lot of the women, they maintained their beauty throughout the decades.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. So, but men, I don't know. And I think had a lot to do with heavy drinking, smoking, just lifestyles. Maybe, I don't know. Anyways, let's get to the episode, Dave, because it's going to be interesting when we talk about how he's being blackmailed, because the Great Santini is technically not who he is. He's not really a magician, but go ahead. Well, he is now, but he's a man of all trades. Yeah.
Yeah. Some of those trades not too good.
And we open right up in the cabaret of magic. And I do love the scene, just like you were saying, the atmosphere, everything. I would love to go there and see a show. Yeah.
You know what I would also say about this episode too? I loved the music.
Hopefully not the one with Patrick singing.
I don't see how
tell
you could.
you.
Hey,
Wait, that's
it's
better than Patrick. Wait. Okay.
it was better than Patrick, but it's an Academy Award-winning song. He sings Charade. But no, I'm talking about the music that plays kind of throughout the instrumentals
Okay.
that you see cutting the scenes and as well as the very end.
Yeah, the score
Uh,
of the episode. Yeah. CM,
yeah,
hello.
this
Emily,
is
hello. Good to see you.
this is one of them. But at the
Patrick
very
sings a nice jazzy tune. Hey, my
and I love
agent's calling from Las Vegas. He's got something really big for me, but yeah, I don't think he ever got
but
it.
I love at during the time
Yeah.
where Della ends up quitting
Mm.
and he's all, my daughter's gone soft on a mediocre singer.
I tell you what, Jack Cassidy played the role pretty hardcore. I mean, he did.
Oh
He's,
yeah,
he's a badass. I mean, I don't know what more to say. For 1976, he seemed like a badass.
he did. He did.
Yeah.
And did you like that mustache that he had? I
Oh
mean,
my
when you
god.
really zoom into the thing, it comes down and goes out. There's like no thing in the center. It's just
Yeah.
diagonals. Oh my god.
He's got the like Clark Gable type thing, in the early years where the actors would almost color, draw kind of with makeup, but they literally the thick bushy mustache. You can make a line. I can't do that. Mine's too light and not thick enough, But I always thought, it'd be nice to have just like one of those 1920s, I do say. But anyways, yeah, we open up there to that and we see this image of who I guess, is the great Santini picking up a revolver. And you tell me if I skip over anything, but
Oh
picking
no,
up.
no. But I want to talk about
Oh,
this.
okay,
Go
go
ahead.
ahead.
Go ahead. Tell him what he's
Okay.
doing.
Okay, so you don't see the face, but you see the body. He's picking up a gun. He's loading it with the silencer, and it's wrapped around a rag or something
And
like that.
that's my problem. You
Yeah.
don't use a silencer on a revolver.
Okay.
You use a silencer on a 45 because the noise comes out the
Right. The barrel of the
end.
gun. Yeah.
Here where you put the bullets,
Yeah.
and I can't remember the name of that right now.
Cartridge. Yeah.
The cartridge. That's where the noise comes out. So the silencer is going to have no effect on a
Wait
revolver.
a second. Okay, so yeah, I didn't. What made you think of that, Dave?
Because I
Of all
know
things?
about guns.
Okay, of all things, yeah, you are right because it's the cartridge and he's loading it, and then he puts the silencer on it. But yeah, it doesn't make any sense. But it's weird. He puts it around a cloth because he's no fingerprints and all that stuff. I don't know. And he's also got this recording equipment, so voice recording equipment. And
Yeah.
he takes and he puts it in a false bottom type, whatever it is of Mephisto, a statue of Mephisto. Isn't that who that is?
I don't know who it is. It
Yeah.
scared me.
It's Mephisto. Yeah. And hides it. And then we pop right up to upstairs. We pop up to not the performance, but the office where Jesse Jerome is.
Well, he actually goes through.
You wanted to talk about
and meets a couple of the other characters.
Yeah, go ahead.
He meets the maitre d'. He meets one of the backstage people. They make fun of Nehemiah Persoff. They're all, oh, he's so difficult to work for. And he says, hey, you and I will go out for a couple of pints of jars or something like that.
Dave just cracked the case. There we go.
Thanks,
See you
Dave.
guys next week. We got
Hello.
Kolchak. Make sure you hit that thumbs up button. Thank you, please. I beg of you.
Nehemiah Persoff, Jesse Jerome is his name.
Nehemiah Persoff. Wasn't there a song like that? Nehemiah was a bullfrog. Yeah, that's it. Nehemiah was a bull. Okay, go on, Dave.
And you thought that Patrick was a bad singer. Anyway, we'll go ahead.
I wasn't trying, sir. Go ahead.
We'll go ahead. We're up to Jesse Jerome, the person who sweats just by sitting still. I mean,
the owner of the club. Yeah, no, this was an odd fact and clue in this movie, Dave. I'm like, was there no air conditioner? But go ahead with the sweat in the back.
So basically, the great Santini is pulled onto the carpet because, like, Jesse Jerome is supposed to get paid so much by him, and he was only paid a small fraction. But as Jesse's sitting there, And by the way, he's eating shrimp from the Yucatan Peninsula. He has them flowing in daily. So this guy's got tons of money, but obviously not enough for air conditioning. Because if there was air conditioning, guess what?
He wasn't using it.
Great Santini would be free today.
Yeah, William Cromer. Hey. Was the blackmailing talked about right before the sweat?
It was during the sweat, because he had actually just finished typing the letter to the immigration services about how the Great Santini is not the Great Santini. He is some guy, German name, and he worked in one of the concentration camps back in World War II. And this episode, as one of my favorites, always gives me pause, because when we're looking at the mid-1970s, we're only 30 years away from those events.
Oh, yeah.
And so these events are very, very fresh in our minds. And, definitely, growing up.
Jeremiah. Not Nehemiah, Jeremiah. Okay, thanks, Ed. Yeah, no, you are correct, sir. Yes. But the odd thing was him sweating. And Columbo finds out that this is a clue, because Jesse Jerome, again, got him on blackmail, and he's sweating. You see him sweating, Dave. And I'm like, oh, why is he sweating so bad? Because, the Great Santini with his long cigarette brown, I don't know what that is standing there not sweating. But evidently he's not wearing a t-shirt, which I had a teacher back in the day. Okay. He was a history teacher. And he was one of those guys who would put his hand back, and he was right in front of us, and he would have the big pits. And it was the thin button-up white shirt that there was no t-shirt underneath. And he must have worn it for like 30 years, because it's ready to fall off. You could see through it. You could see every hair, the nipples, listen, I'm telling you how it is. And pits, sweating, and sweat everywhere. And I'm like going, this is not right for us kids to see this. But we did. But I'm referring to this scene with Jesse Jerome, who he's in a leather chair, which we're going to find out later. The leather chair makes you sweat in the shirt more, because there's no circulation of air and stuff like that, if you want to get scientific about it. But so up to a certain level, he's got sweat going down.
Connie just mentioned Ted's tank top.
Oh gosh, yeah, Ted tank top. Oh my God, yeah. You guys want to see stuff? Go back and watch me and Ted talk about movies at least 5 years ago on this channel. You guys would not imagine. Yeah, TMI, Duck Dodgers. Listen, never too much information on this channel. Well, maybe sometimes, I don't know. But oh my God, we better get through this episode, right?
That's okay. We're 20 minutes in and we haven't even started. But
I noticed the one thing I noticed when the Great Santini came into the office with Jesse Jerome. Listen, I have to say, he's got a recorder on the back over to the right of the scene.
Yeah, real.
Yeah, a big one. And he's recording everything going on in his office.
Yeah.
Because he's blackmailing the Great Santini. So he's going to have a record of it. But I thought, how weird that it's just offset on the picture. It's over there. It's recorded. They didn't mention it. Nothing. It's just there. And if you see it, you see it. You don't, you don't. But
you know what's really weird? And I haven't been able to figure it out what's wrong today. Huh. I'm on top and you're down there.
Oh, is that what's going on?
That's so weird.
No, it's fine.
All right.
Yeah, don't worry about it. Don't let it.
Okay, I won't let it freak me out. I just
if
don't.
We need to switch. If you need to go out and come back in, you go ahead and do that. If you want to be on down there, I mean, whatever.
You know what? I actually do.
Okay, go ahead, do it.
All right, watch this magic trick.
Yeah. Then I'm gonna bring him right back. See, and he's gonna be on the bottom. But yeah, the sweat was ridiculous. Here we go. So you should be on the. There you go. You feel better now?
Oh, totally.
Your OCD all taken care of. Anyways, okay. So go on, Dave. Take us from here.
It's never taken care of. But one of the things that I loved about this particular scene, there's actually two things. One is really cool because I'm an art person, and basically Jesse Jerome says, "Hey, did you break into this office and look for that letter?"
Yeah.
And the Jack Cassidy's all like, of course I did. I stole your Rubens and your Manet and this and that, all your famous paintings. But he doesn't mention the Raphael painting right behind his head, the round circular painting, which is actually by far the most famous and definitely the most expensive you could get. The second thing they say in this episode, which is bothersome, is he says like, hey, no one's going to prosecute me. I was 21. I was merely a boy, as you know, trying to justify his actions. And Nehemiah gets pissed off and he's all like, hey, no one was a boy unless they were going into, you know, the ovens. And as he said this, Jack Cassidy lit his lighter. And I thought that was so creepy and so dark.
Yeah.
Is like, whoa.
You know, I didn't even notice that, but yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah. And that's just, you know, shows you how evil this person really is and what he's capable of, because he's going to kill Jesse Jerome here.
Yes. He's got some whole elaborate scheme because he does this. He goes out to perform on the stage. We switch scenes where he's putting on his performance. And again, they're all bad tricks, card tricks. I'm going to put a bouquet of flower right on. And it was funny when he did on the one table and you could see the two people are looking right there at it. You know, they had to have seen the trick, but they're going, oh, wow, because, you know,
did you see? And again, I've watched this episode hundreds of times.
Yeah.
There is a guy at the bar sitting down.
Yeah.
And you would think that this guy just like presented a dragon to you. I mean, this guy's mouth is open. His eyes are big. He's like, he must be getting paid like double what everyone else is. He's just like, wow. Oh, it's really good when you rewatch this.
Oh yeah. You can take time to pause and look at the people in the audience. I mean, that's why I said there's a lot of interesting characters all sitting in there. There has to be a crowd of like 40 people, something like that. I don't know, a lot of people there, but he's getting ready to perform and he's got the scheme that he's hatched like he did in the other episode. And hello to, where is he real quick? Came in here.
David S. came
David in. Swift watched every Columbo episode multiple times. Now you see him as my number one. Wow. I think you said, David, this is your number one. No,
this isn't my top five.
Definitely. Okay. Because I like the other Jack, the one we've seen better. I thought that was a better episode.
Interesting. But I wonder as well, like, I mean, we'll go back to one of the first season episodes. I'm interested in seeing if you like the early Columbo better.
Yeah.
In like seasons 5, for instance.
Okay. But by no means did I not. I enjoyed this tremendously.
Oh, good.
But just definitely a different feel. But number one, after me seeing the first season episodes that we've done, I'm curious that I thought you said it was but he says it, and I'm like, okay, maybe I'm missing something in the later episodes, but we'll see.
This is one of my go-to when I want something in the background where I don't have to pay attention to.
Okay.
But I also love a lot of the dialogue here. I love the way they're dressed, as you mentioned, the hats, the hairstyles, and everything like that. And I wanted to see if you found the link to Twilight Zone in the episode. But this is really great on so many different levels. One thing I did want to say from the Great Santini meeting with Jesse Jerome is this is when the blackmail becomes apparent, where basically this guy identified the Great Santini as a war, someone who should be prosecuted.
Are you going towards the end of the movie? I mean,
no. This is why Jesse Jerome is killed.
Okay.
So there's an old guy. He's like, hey, I identified that magician, and he's a war criminal. And so then he told Jesse Jerome, and the old guy mysteriously dies. So all Jesse Jerome has is this letter.
Gotcha.
And then the Great Santini tries to say, hey, look, right now I'm giving you 50% of my income. I'm going to cut that down to 5. And Jesse Jerome says, no way. A deal's a deal. I've assimilated the rudiments of arithmetic, and another $45,000. Have it tonight. And
by midnight,
So
it's after Santini, the audience left to see Santana. Okay. Black Roses, I tell you. So the great Santini is up on the stage. He's putting on a performance. He's doing his little things, this and that, guy, yada, yada, yada. And then all of a sudden, Della comes out on. Why was her outfit so thick? It was like a magician's like leotard type thing, but it was like 3-4 inches thick, and I'm like going, what is up with that? We need it more skin tight. Anyways, Santini is up there. She's very pretty, but it's his daughter. Maybe that's why I think she had a chastity belt on. Maybe that's why it was so thick.
Maybe, or she was getting ready for her part in Saint Elsewhere.
Oh, could be. Yeah. So he's going to do this big trick, which is going to be the scheme to murder Jesse Jerome. He's going to do the trick with the false bottom water tank illusion. Well, nobody knows it's false bottom, but I would have thought they would have. But it's the water tank illusion trick where he gets put into a little box and then chained up like the magician Houdini, and put in water. And she says 9 minutes of oxygen to breathe.
9 minutes, 12 seconds.
There you go. Yeah. And she's got this 4 foot tall 9-minute hourglass. It was just 9 minutes. Exactly.
CM's got a great quote there.
Her costume is as tasteless as Patrick's singing. CM. Oh, tasteless. I think it was she was covered up and everything. It just was very thick, almost like armor. It just made no sense. But anyways, and listen, I can't say enough about Peter Falk. Listen, I've fallen in love with this character, and I've known him my whole life. Okay? I've known Peter Falk, Columbo. I've watched Murder by Death, but I never watched a Columbo episode. So knowing a character, but not seeing him in shows, the actual Columbo shows, I have such respect for Peter Falk and what he did with this character. And I'm not just saying, I really, literally, Dave, thank you. I would have never seen these, but I have such respect for Peter Falk. And man, I did see him. I think it was the Out of Towners.
Yeah.
Peter Falk was in with, I think, Jack Lemmon, if I'm wrong. One of a great comedy. If you like The Apartment, comedies from the 60s and stuff like that in the 70s, check it out. Man, I hope I'm not wrong with the Out of Towners. I hope that's Peter Falk. But anyway,
Dodgers will let us know.
Yeah, let us know. I think it was, yes, the Out of Towners, Peter Falk, but great Jack Lemmon. Anyways, they're doing the false spot. As soon as he did that, I'm like going, how can not, and even when Columbo came in, how do you not check for the he eventually did, but the false bottom, that's how you're getting out of that thing.
Yeah, but I love, and this is later in the episode, when the assistant, Bob Dishy, comes in, Sergeant Wilson, and Peter Falk goes, did the magician come backstage? He's all, no, he's in that box. And that's exactly what Columbo did. He goes, oh, it just went on.
But Columbo would go, and that could have just been his persona, just making it seem like he doesn't know what's going on, but he really does. How do you do that? How are you making this happen? I'm blown away. I loved his expressions when he was doing the magic tricks. But anyways, let's set up this whole scheme from the 9 minutes he's in this water tank illusion with the false bottom that it gets out. In 9 minutes, he's got to go and kill Jesse. You can take it away, Dave.
Well, the great thing is he's really, in so many other episodes, time is of the essence. And all these people are just checking their watches. Here he doesn't. He is so smooth and just so, like, he goes down the steps. He opens that, statue up. He grabs the gun. He grabs the receiver. Then he goes upstairs to kill Jesse Jerome. But he doesn't knock on the door. He picks the lock. And so,
Yes, yes, and it's a new lock that's just been installed, and you know what? Yes, it's Sandy Dennis and Jack Lemmon in the Out of Towners. It's the In-Laws that Peter Falk is in. Thank you, CM, for clearing that up. I don't know why I got those two mixed up, but listen, you guys got to see Out of Towners, a great movie. But anyways, and Sandy Dennis, she's interesting character herself. But yeah, the lock is definitely just put in, and it's one that's hard to pick. But go ahead.
well, it's a double locking mechanism. So
Yes.
it's a much more sturdy type of lock. But also, this is going to play in the handcuffs later on because handcuffs are a
Love
double
that
locking
part.
mechanism.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
and by the way, in order to get from underneath the stage up to Jesse Jerome's office, he's got to traverse the kitchen. How does he do this? He does it in a disguise. He dresses up as a maitre d' with like gray hair and everything like that, and he just grabs a,
Puts
you
on
know,
a red jacket.
yeah,
If you ask me, though, I looked at him and I said, it looks like the great Santini with the red jacket. So
oh,
I was kind of confused. Like, how can not everybody go, hey, Santini, what's going on? What are you doing in the kitchen here? You know, so I didn't quite get that, but listen, it's okay. But he tried to disguise himself and go down to but go ahead, Dave. I interrupted you.
no, that's okay. But he makes it through the kitchen, unlocks Jesse Jerome's office. Jesse gets up as he's sitting on a leatherback chair. That'll be
Yeah.
important later. And it's the great Santini. And I think he turns and tries to run and he gets shot and killed.
Yeah. He does get shot. And this is important in the clues and all that with Columbo. He gets shot in the chest, but as he's turning around, he falls face forward, and you see his back, and that's how Columbo gets the clue of the sweat mark on his back. But
And the Santini is also really smart. He needs to have an alibi.
yeah,
So this guy, one of the true waiters, brings him
yeah.
a drink every single night. And we get to hear like him like doing a little magic trick. What number are you thinking of? Pick a number between 1 and 4. And the guy goes, "Oh, it's number 2, let's say." And he goes, "Oh, pick up your iPhone. It's on the back of your iPhone. It says,
Yeah.
I knew you were thinking about number 2." He goes, "I don't know how you do it. It's amazing."
Well, I love later on when Columbo figures that out, and
Yeah.
he sets it up with the sergeant,
Yes.
and he tells him, "Well, go ahead, listen to this. Pick a number from 1 to 4, and I'll guess it." And he's, again, the trick is there that you'd say 4. There's an object on the table that's got underneath it, I knew you were going to pick 4. There's an object on the table that says, I knew you were going to pick 2, 3, 1, whatever. So that's how it goes. And the waiter knew that every night during that part of the act, he ends up underneath, in that area there, the wardrobe area. And that's why he set that out. And the waiter did not go in, but that's his alibi. I talked to him, but Columbo figures that out too, right, Dave?
Yeah, and I thought it was kind of cheap of the of Santini anyway to say, "Hey, look, you can either get $5 or nothing." And
yeah, cheap. Yeah, he should be giving him a tip. Hey,
yeah,
this is for all your good work, bringing me my brandy every night. But yeah, it's But what he does is he in all this 9 minutes he disguises himself. He's got a recording device on him where he could talk into it, and a transmitter that goes to a transmitter or whatever in the other room that makes his voice sound like he's in the room. So, but which is kind of strange because wasn't he just around the corner?
it made it seem that way, but I don't think so.
Okay, because I was like, can't he just stay in the room until he leaves and then run up? Because that's what he did. He had to talk until he left, and then he went up to the room to murder Jesse Jerome. But nevertheless, listen, in 9 minutes, they fit all that in. He did kill him. He came back down, and he ends up putting on a black mask, and he's one of the assistants, because I thought he was going to pop out of the thing too.
Likewise.
And here he was an assistant, and his daughter Della pops out of the bottomless, not bottom. Why can't I keep saying that? That's just disturbing. The water tank illusion, the water tank.
Everyone loved it. Everyone thought it was amazing.
Oh, it was great. And he takes it. Yeah, here I am. His daughter's, and I'm like going, are you guys all dumb?
And
Come on.
And later, we find out that he did that at Madison Square Gardens.
Oh gosh. Do we? What was his dog name?
Columbo says, I saw your act. I saw the water tank illusion at Madison Square Gardens. Me and the wife. Oh my gosh, it was so amazing.
Ed Stath, the suspension of disbelief, Dino. Yeah, I hear you. So all of that's going on. Let's see. Calls for calls for call. And boy, I didn't take very much notes, did I? But Della's in it. Columbo arrives.
That's what happened. Oh, it's a good episode.
Yeah. Okay. So Columbo arrives. The murder has taken place. They've called the cops because, oh my God, he's in there and Santini's on the stage. So that's his alibi and all that good stuff. He thought, what's funny is with these Columbo episodes, Dave, you come to find, and Columbo says it later on, there is no perfect murder.
Right.
But and you find out, even in real life, I know a few guys, you think you've got everything nailed down and cleaned up and all that stuff. There's always something somewhere, usually, to give you away. And Columbo makes it so easy. And how he just figures this out. If you got the right mindset, you can figure any crime out, kind of, Anyways, until you watch Cold Case Files and stuff like that, and then you go, oh, wait a second. No, it's not that easy. But Columbo makes it seem like there is no perfect murder. You know what I mean?
It is. My favorite is the first 48. If you've ever watched that show, the first 48 hours after a murder.
Oh, yes. Well, sometimes they don't figure anything out, though, after the first 48. Because, after the first 48, if you don't figure something out, usually that's bad news. But if you catch it within that first 48 hours, there's a chance. But anyways, a good show, Dave. Area 51 is here. What up, party house? Yeah, party people all in the house there, Area 51.
Speaking of that, how many thumbs up do we have?
Yeah, and you know what? It is a CBS Radio Mystery Theater night tonight, so hopefully you guys all enjoy that. Another great crop of episodes for you guys. We're only at 55 thumbs up. People magically make that thumbs up happen. Let's try to get to 100 or 75 at least. Yeah. Maybe. I don't know. I think we can do that. What I was going to say was I love the next scene when Columbo shows up. You look at him. First of all, the cars. I still don't understand. What are these cars? Were they shipped from England? These weren't cars from the 70s, were they?
They were something else, but they're cool. I mean, we see Columbo's Peugeot, which he actually found on a back lot of Paramount or Universal or wherever. He's all, that's Columbo's car. That's going to be the car.
Okay. But what I love, Dave, was he got out of the car and he shows up in a new jacket. And I'm like going, wait, what? Yeah. What's going on here? So, what's with the new jacket?
Well, that's the running gag throughout the entire episode is he's trying to lose the jacket. Yeah. And immediately when he gets up, people don't recognize him. The police officer that's guarding the door says, "Excuse me, sir, you can't go in there." And he's all, I'm Lieutenant Columbo.
Yeah.
And he's all, oh, sorry, I didn't recognize you. Something must be different. And he's all, I got a haircut. It's like, doesn't mention the jacket.
Because he's pissed off. His wife bought it for him. And he doesn't want to wear it.
Wife bought it. So he's upstairs and he's trying to solve this murder. He goes, it's the jacket. I can't think in the jacket. And he rips it off, and he leaves it there.
He's trying to get rid of it through the rest of the episode, but he can't.
Only Bob Dishy goes, sir, and he's trying to run down the hallway after him, and you hear Columbo going, "What?
Yeah,
left your jacket." He goes, "Oh, thanks."
Frankly, His
Just
wife got it for him. Yes, frankly, that's what I said. And hello, good to see you, frankly. The other funny thing when he first shows up like that is he's bringing his lunch with him, and it's a paper bag of greasy fried chicken.
way greasy.
And do you remember the episode of Sanford and Son where Fred Sanford brings the same paper bag of greasy chicken wings to his nursing home? I guess it was the episode where his son was. Well, he did it. There were 2 episodes where Fred Sanford brought a greasy bag of chicken wings, and you can see all the grease on it. One time, I think it was from last night. I mean, how are you not getting sick? But there was a time on the plane when he brung them because he didn't know he was going to get fed on the plane. It was first class. Then there was another one when he's in the nursing home, and he wanted to bring his chicken wings like Fred Sanford. Anyways, Columbo, he's got a bag of chicken wings with greasy bag. Huh?
He does, and he's always so kind because he does offer it.
Yeah.
People. You want a piece of chicken?
And he was holding one with everything taken off of it, so he must have just eaten that, and he's still carrying the bone around.
We will see him eat in several episodes. One time, the funniest time, it's the Leonard Nimoy episode, A Stitch in Crime, where this nurse gets killed by basically a crowbar. And he talks to the person holding the crowbar. He goes, hold on. And he cracks an egg, a hard-boiled egg on it, on the murder weapon.
Oh boy, yeah, I don't know. It was funny. It was funny. Okay, so also when Columbo came, there's no money, missing body, not by the door. We know that, so it didn't make any sense. The lock was picked. Columbo takes the lock with him to work, but he does show up the next day at Santini's. He goes, "Can I come to the show tomorrow night?" And I love how he gives him a seat right up front and all that good stuff. Yeah.
That's way down the road, dude. Way down the road. Yeah. First of all,
Dave, it's 8:47.
Well,
we're almost an hour into this. Go ahead.
We'll end it quickly. It's not
okay. Yeah.
Hey,
okay.
Greg Santini did it. Okay.
No, Dave, how dare you? You gave it away.
Yeah.
Anyways.
So, but what's great is because Bob Dishy's all like, "Hey, I think Columbo's going to want to interview all these people. We're going to keep them all here." And then later, Columbo's like, they're basically captives, all the people from the Cabaret Club.
Let them all go home.
And then Columbo's all, we don't need them, get rid of them. And Dishy's all,
Well, that's why I like the sidekick thing, because the sergeant, I guess they had a bad experience earlier on. And the sergeant now, Bob Dishy, thinks he's a better detective or whatever. He thinks he's better, but he's still like not to the level of Columbo. So Columbo's just kind of ignoring him, but there's a good relationship between them both. But yeah, he's still getting everything wrong.
Yeah. But Columbo wants to go backstage, and Santini says, "No, don't go back and stay. Don't go backstage," and everything. And then, Patrick meets up with Della because they're going to go out for Chinese food after midnight. And Santini's like, "No, I want you home with me tonight." And he says, "Goodbye, boy," to dismiss Patrick. It's like, oh my God.
Yeah.
But then we are in police headquarters. We're in a mad scientist, basically lab, because there's all these things boiling all around the guy who's trying to work on the lock.
Yeah. Well, and he's telling them all the, the clues, the gun, the cloth, no fingerprints, this and that, the lock. Mark Thomas, the chili with beans and chili without beans. What's going on?
That's a Columbo quote.
Is it? Okay. Hey, Mark Thomas. Good to see you. Good to know you.
That's from I think that may be from the Johnny Cash episode, because Columbo's like, I don't want anything fancy. You got,
this is Johnny Cash.
No, it was from
the chili with beans and the chili without beans. It's called Larnay. Dave, it's okay. Don't worry about it.
No, because I love Columbo. It's from Publisher or Perish. He goes to a fancy restaurant. They're all, "Hey, do you want some salmon, trout, almondine?" And Columbo's
Oh,
all,
sounds
can I
good.
get chili, with beans or without beans? I don't really care. And it cost him $6, but he also got an iced tea, and it became $6.75. He goes, 75 cents for an iced tea? Freaking out and everything. But he could write it off. It was a job thing.
Oh God. I think it's funny when he does, Columbo does come to the show and stuff too. When he's, the great Santini's talking to the couple. I think it's the wife to Jesse Jerome, because he goes, later on, I will perform I will reach out to the deceased Jesse Jerome through ESP, he says. Through ESP.
Yeah.
What?
I don't know.
Writers, you got that wrong. Messed up a little bit. But anyways, yeah.
He did, but I thought he was trying to pick up on the girl anyway. It just seemed like
Oh.
a pickup line. Do you believe in clairvoyancy? Oh, yes.
Mark Thomas says, I'm not sure, but he remembered, or he was asking whether he should have chili with the beans or without the beans. Yeah. Man, now I want chili with some sour cream and cheddar cheese on top. Anyways, I thought Columbo was very funny in the way he was acting during this whole show, and what was going on, and when he brung him up to the stage, because this is where go ahead.
Well, first of all, you talked about how bad the magic tricks were. Okay.
Yeah.
And it's literally like,
right.
like that. And then he does something with his fingers and stuff like that. So he goes, I need an assistant. I'd love a beautiful young woman to come up here. And Columbo's all, no, Mr. Cotta. And he goes, okay, we're going to have a beautiful young man instead.
Hurry up, Dave. Do you know what was Columbo first name?
Frank Columbo, and you only see it on his police license in an episode with with McGowan, and it is called By Dawn's Early Light.
Okay, nice. Look at Dave. Dave knows his
Dave
knows this is Columbo.
Don't mess with me.
So the handcuffs.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
That is that. Did he tweak the lock on it?
No. The idea is that
the locksmith.
Well, no. Well,
yes.
I think he did that. Just the idea is that the door and the handcuffs both have double locks. Handcuffs have double locks, so they don't cinch up on you. You can still move your hands freely.
Oh, maybe it was just asking the locksmith if it's the same exact quality.
Yeah, I think they were trying to get it to be the exact same so that they could see if you could pick it, if it had the same marks on it.
Yeah, because earlier the guy that was told Columbo, yeah, this was picked. You could see this sharp little metal that tapped at it and chipped it a little bit. But anyways, go ahead.
But now, is that also the part where Bob Dishy pulls up and has Columbo's raincoat because he left it at police headquarters?
Well, when he's at the locksmith, yeah, he left it at headquarters, and he goes, "Oh, I thought somebody stole it." And Bob Dishy goes, "At the police station? No."
And I love the way his face changes. Like, it's just like, why would anyone steal something at police headquarters? But I remember watching this episode on TV in the 70s and having my dad laugh out loud at that one particular part. So it's always one of my favorite parts of the whole episode.
Oh, geez. So is that a big part of the love for some of these shows that you got? Just sharing the memories that you had with your, like, because that's part of, that's part of. Okay, very cool.
Yeah, I mean, I remember, like, even as a kid, occasionally this would be on late at night. You'd get to stay up, you'd hang out with your parents and everything, but you'd fall asleep before the episode was over.
Yeah. Columbo, he rigged it to be the same. So yeah, when he's up there, he makes sure he's the volunteer. He goes up on stage and tells him, I brought some with me. He tells the audience, see if he can do that. So he puts the handcuffs on and he acts like, first of all, you think, oh my God, he's not going to be able to do it. But then he turns around and brings it down and quickly unlocks it. So yeah, either this guy's really evil or whatever, but he's good at everything.
It is, but I love that interaction between those two characters, because it's at that point where Santini knows Columbo knows that he did it, because
Yes.
it's just this great camera angle where it's just their faces interacting with one another, and he's all, I knew you could do it, and he gave him a wink,
Oh yeah.
and Santini's face at that point falls like, ah, shit. But then he turns to the crowd. He says he tried to outwit the master, you know. And as Columbo sits down, he's all, oh, Columbo, by the way, here's your badge. You know,
Oh yeah.
so he
Yeah.
knows that, you know, even though he knows, he's going to still get away because he's smarter than Columbo.
Yes. Yes. Well, he thinks he is, but he's not really. But yeah. Hey, Sally Skellington, what's going on? Good to see you here. Normally see you in the overnights occasionally. My mom loved Columbo. I miss her, of course. Of course, Mark Thomas. Very cool. Yeah, memories like you know, with these shows are a lot of times even music. You know, is from if you had. And I'm not even getting into it. Why did I go that direction? Great parents who love you, and they bring back great memories. So, anyways, let's continue. What's with? I'm jumping over something. I think he visits. There's an old man in the audience named Mike Lally.
Yes, as I mentioned in our last episode, he was the bum who was sitting outside of the mission when
Yes.
Columbo was going in to talk to the wino that had shot Paul Gillespie. That was a witness to it. Michael Lally's in the alley. Here he is a well-dressed patron at the bar, and this is the only episode where they say his name, and it's actually his real name. But so he just goes real name and actor name is the same in IMDb for this guy. And he was on 25 episodes of Columbo, and it was great. He was an old friend of, in the episode, Jack Cassidy's. They did like performing together throughout Europe and everything.
Yeah.
And Jack
Said he
Cassidy
had. Oh, go ahead.
ordered him a bottle of Dom Perignon.
Don Perignon.
Have you
Yeah.
ever had that?
No, I don't drink, but yeah, no, he I don't know why I said it that way, but
Well, let me tell you this. I picked some up for a party one time.
okay.
Oh my God.
Oh, potent
It was like
or good?
$6. It was like hundreds and hundreds of dollars for a case. I mean,
Oh.
it's just like insanely expensive. So when
Mm.
he ordered that particular drink, he was just like, here's a lot of money, you know.
Well, this is the lifestyles of the rich and famous.
It was.
I'm Robin Leach. Come watch Dave and Dino talk about Columbo. Anyways, come on. So he visits Mike Lally, and yeah, he knew him back in the day, and it kind of gave him away too. But yeah, Mark Thomas says Columbo got him with the pick lock. You know, I think very early on, I think he's immediately and this is what I'm figuring out. He picks up on something really early, and then just starts to roll with it, and then clue after clue after clue just keeps rolling over. At least $100 per bottle, says Black Roses.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, you want to take it? I don't know where you are. 71 thumbs up. Oh, we are just rising. Dino likes his ginger ale. Yeah. Well, you know what? I don't drink for a reason. Alcoholism runs in the family, so I chose from an early age not to take one drink so that I wouldn't get. It just goes with the whole childhood, you know, thing, in which I've talked on many other streams about because I'm an open book. So I just chose never. And people go, "You've never had one drink in your life?" What? No, I haven't. As hardcore as I go is coffee. That's, and even that sometimes knocks me on my ass, Dave.
Well, I know that's why you got to get it from Coffee Shop of Horrors. Not a sponsor of this program, but definitely check out their coffee because it's great. For me, it's Hennigan because it goes down smooth.
H-E-double-N-I. Hennigan.
There's no smell, no tell scotch.
Yes. That's a Seinfeld reference where Kramer is drinking Hennigan's, and Jerry wanted to find out if could you drink Hennigan's and tell if somebody was drinking it? If somebody was drunk? And Kramer kept drinking it, and they went to like close to him and they said, "We don't smell it. We don't smell it." So, anyways, go on, Dave.
No, that's okay. And Black Rose is 3.5 years sober. That's terrific.
Awesome Black Roses. Yes, yes. Listen, I come from a big family, and some went the other way, and some didn't, and I didn't. And I'm not saying good for me, but yeah, good for me, man. I just never did. Red, the lips. I haven't seen you in years on the channel. What's going on? Good evening to you. Good evening. Never seen. Yeah, I think Red was back even with before with the horror reviews and stuff like that. So good to see you, Red. Yeah, it's been a while. Anyways, where are we at in this episode, man?
Now he's watching the show. Santini's doing the water tank illusion trick, and he goes down to confront Santini because he knows he's downstairs, and he's all, "Yeah, I've been down here the whole time." And Columbo says, "Well, that's good. I can't tell my boss you were locked up in a tank and water." He goes, "That's weird."
Yeah, he's trying to get it out of him. Like, where can I write down that you were? Hey, Angelus, good to see you too. Second time in the chat. Very, very good. Here in Argentina, Columbo was cast in the 80s on Midnights. It was the best series ever for me. The scripts were very ingenious. Very cool. Okay. In Argentina. Very cool information. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah. So this is where he also has the idea that he's getting brandy every night. He says, "Hey, I didn't drink my brandy tonight. There it is." And then he goes out dressed with the black hood, and his daughter in the same outfit that you mentioned earlier comes up, running up the stairs so she can be in the box when it gets pulled up from the water.
Yes, yes. I know lots of people who don't drink, and they were a blast to hang with. Personal choice, Ed Stathis. Yes. Well, listen, many people can handle it. I just don't take the chance. But I'm goofy enough, Ed. So can you just imagine? I don't even know. Fun to be here, says Mark Thomas. And Jimmy D, good to see you. So there you go. So yeah, I like he finally does get. Oh, he shows up at a restaurant where he's with this hot chick. This woman. This. Okay, no. Something.
Not yet. Not yet.
Back it up, Mike. Back it up. Beep, beep, beep. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, so first thing, he goes into the kitchen, finds the guy who gave him the brandy, talked with him, said, "I know his voice." He goes, "Oh, you know his voice, but you didn't see him." "No, I didn't see him." So he knows something's going on there. He's going to figure it out. He's going to go to a magic shop where Thayer David works, and Thayer David makes him put his hand in a contraption that should cut it off, but it doesn't. And we will actually see that same thing again in a magic shop in the new episodes of the 1990s, like 20 years later. They do the same thing.
Oh, you know what? And I'm thinking about it, and I'm like, I don't know if I can imagine this in the 90s, but we'll get there. We'll get there.
We'll throw in a 90s episode. But I think also Thayer David was in Rocky, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
He was maybe one of Apollo Creed's managers.
Yeah, he's the best ever.
But then they talk about Jesse Jerome. They talk about how, to know Jesse was to detest him,
Brandy, I think I'm sorry. I always interrupt you, just like I always interrupted Ted. Black Roses. Yeah, I was singing that song very lightly, and you heard it. Brandy, you're a fine girl. What a good wife you would be. You remember the Brandy song, Dave? Brandy, she's a fine. Okay, whatever. Let's move on. Dave don't know.
What is the group who sang that?
Yes, the Guillotine. Okay.
Yeah.
So are we up to the restaurant where he's sitting there with the?
He's talking about we're talking about Thayer David, and he's all like, he thought he was being questioned by the police, and he says, "I was at my in-laws in San Marino." So then he goes, they tried to talk about this trick. How do we figure it out? And he goes, "Oh, it sounds like a gaff," and the head act, where then Michael Lally goes, "Oh yeah, Santini used to be a gaff and a head act later on." So, all right.
Okay, so you
Now,
glad you talked about Mike Lally a little bit more?
now I want to talk about Michael Lally and his awesome apartment.
Oh yeah, the apartment, and where that's right above the magic place, right? The club. Am I wrong? Where's he living?
So he just lives in a general apartment.
Because he said the only thing that belongs to him is the TV and the
Hot plate.
Hot plate. So everything else belongs to the joint.
Fridge,
he said.
Fridge yours? No, belongs to the joint.
Yeah, it belongs. Yeah.
Do you remember how much he paid per month for rent?
Me?
Yeah, he says how much he paid per month.
Oh, well, I never paid for rent until.
Oh, okay.
Oh, you're asking me. No, I missed that. How much did he pay for rent?
$40 a month.
Holy heck.
$40 a month in Los Angeles.
And he's got the TV and the hot plate. He doesn't need nothing else.
TV and hot plate. Everything else belongs to a joint. You got a shower. There's a shower on the 3rd floor for everybody.
Yeah, he's living the life then, ain't he?
He is, and he's got his beers.
Is he really?
Got his beers in the fridge. But did you recognize the room?
Jimmy D didn't like the episodes in the 90s. Did I recognize the room?
Yeah.
No.
It's from some Twilight Zone episodes, including the one with Joan Blondell.
Really? Okay.
But that is a very famous scene. Yeah, very famous room.
No, I didn't recognize it, and I'm still trying to picture it in my head.
That's why we got to do more of these.
Okay. So very cool. Everything set up the same? I mean, layout wise and all that?
Yeah, the same, like the idea where the kitchen and the fridge and everything like that is. But yeah, that's just an old set from the Twilight Zone.
Jimmy D says it was a room. Okay.
That's all that it was. Yeah.
It was more than a room. It was somewhere people liked. Oh, by the way, I always trip over the like button. Thank you very much for hitting that thumbs up button. Let's see where we're at. Oh, I love to refresh this page. Oh, it tickles me. Oh, we only got 3 extra thumbs up, but that's all right. Let's try to get to 80. We're at 74. Thank you very much.
By the way, Columbo, if you watch him, only drinks 1 sip of beer and then leaves the beer behind.
Columbo sips the beer?
Yeah, he goes, Columbo gets a beer, rips off the tab. Remember, we used to have ripped off tabs back in the day. And he drinks some beer. He only had 1 sip and he set it down. And then when he leaves without the beer. And I would be pissed if I was Michael Lally. I'm like, that's an expensive beer. I'd probably drink it anyway.
Yeah, because he took it out of the fridge. It was here, Mike Lally's beer. But yeah, anyway.
One of the things that they're talking about, all the different voices that Santini can do. And Lally says, I even think he can imitate you. And that just cracked me up. Because he has a difficult voice.
Well, and when he's sitting at the table with that lady of the evening, Columbo walks in. He's kind of doing that because he tells him what he's learned, and he does voices. He does the German voice and an English voice, and they're spot on. Jack Cassidy,
so good.
Jack Cassidy, really good. Yeah,
but we didn't get to hear his East Ukrainian.
No. But he did show that, listen, I'm just a man of many talents, so that's kind of what he was trying to prove there. And at this point, he's getting on Jack Cassidy's nerve big time. So, yeah.
And I love this scene, too, because everyone's smoking. Columbo has his cigar.
The 70s, man. I mean, I don't know what to say.
Columbo has his cigar. She has this gigantic Virginia Slim guitar. Cigarette
or Salem's weren't those real long too? My mom would, I don't know. Anyways, long white cigarettes, just so disgusting.
And then Jack Cassidy has that somewhere in between a cigarette and a cigar. Not quite sure what he smoked throughout the episode, but so then he's going. My favorite thing, and I thought of you as well on this one. was the first thing he wrote about the great Santini does not look Italian.
Right. Yes, he does not look Italian. Is Sweet Indigo right? If I'm not mistaken, Mickey Rooney was in the Twilight Zone room episode.
Maybe. I know Joan Blondell. It was one. That was one of the episodes, and I'm
Okay.
a big Joan Blondell fan because she's gorgeous.
Yes, Joan Blondell. Again, classic shorts always here on the channel every night. I'm introducing to a new classic actress.
Well, she had classic pants also.
She's most certainly did.
Never mind. All right.
Anyways, finally, he does finally put on his old jacket, and then we get Columbo back.
We do.
Yeah.
But the old jacket he threw in the car, left the windows down, told the dog if anyone steals it, look the other way.
Look the other way.
But I love the that little dining episode where he's going, who were you before? Were you Kensington or Arlington? And he goes, well, actually, neither. It was Washington. And he's all, do you have a first name on that? And he just turns around and he goes, Martha.
I'm Martha Washington. Then he looks at him but he does find out when he's at the police station and does the whole rigmarole with I knew you would pick 4 or 3 or 2 with the sergeant, and then he passes internal affairs and there's a guy drinking out of the water fountain with a sweat line.
Not just drinking. He was slurping out of that fountain.
Oh, yeah.
You see him go down. He goes, and he's there for like 5 minutes.
He's the kid you would say, save some for the fish, in school.
Oh, yeah.
Now in schools, they got, you bring your own big, gigantic water bottle. You just fill it up. There's no more water fountains. It's so sad. Except for in TV shows, movies, and museums.
That's right.
Okay. So.
We'll always have square pegs.
Or the Wonder Years. So he finds out about the sweat line on the shirt.
Danica's posts today.
I didn't see today's post.
You should check them out. They're really great.
Oh, okay. I'll have to check that out.
She's looking at
Danica McCallum. Oh,
blue dress, blue suede shoes.
You can stop there.
Has the song playing on it. So
okay, nice. Yeah. Danica McKellar, Winnie Cooper from the Wonder Years. She often streams live on Instagram and Facebook. So there you go.
But I also love The Office because this is one of the few times we actually get to go to the police station, and the file cabinets, the desk, the phone, everything was just like, I got to have all that.
Oh yeah. It's if I was a millionaire, I think I'd buy one of those large, like some kind of large building, and I'd make a section that was just set decorated to the T for each decade.
Oh.
And when I felt in the mood for the 70s, I would go sit in that 70s section of the mansion, or the 20s or the 30s, the 40s. You know what I'm saying?
Totally.
I would, the things you can do, and the people who have the money would never think of doing that. I mean, enjoy the rest of your life.
I want everything black and white.
Well, you can I'm sure there's a pair of glasses you can do, but that would be interesting because, like, when you look at things in color from the 40s, you're like, oh no. It's like, so there's got to be a pair of glasses to make black and white. But anyways, we're getting off topic here.
There must be, because they filmed Dead Men Don't Wear Plaid.
Yeah.
It's black and white.
Well, they've done quite a few movies in black and white. And again, I thought when they rebooted the Universal Monsters too, they should have done it in the period that the originals were done in, and make them black and white. But were you making some other point?
No.
Okay.
There was no point.
Okay, there was no point at all. Okay. So Columbo. It's getting to that point. Yeah. Sweat line. He sees the typewriter. He figures out the typewriter. This is what really gives away what's going on.
No, it's what really gives away. It's the 1970s, because we're gone from the different keys to an IBM Selectric typewriter. And Columbo looks at it. He goes, "What is this?" What is this? How does this work?
Oh, and the sergeant was thrilled because in the academy, he just, yeah, he was great at that. And it could do 290. And what's the key to this is the thing on there, the ink,
the ribbon.
the ribbon. Thank you, Dave. Take it away, Dave.
Well, no, what's great as well is Bob Dishy types
the coffee's
in.
Wearing off.
That's okay. He types in. He types like 90 words a minute, and Columbo's really impressed. And that
all out. Go on.
That interaction really like is the first time it's like, hey, I'm really proud of you. You've taught me something because I didn't know how to use this and you did. That was really awesome. Yeah. So I thought it was good interconnectedness with Bob Dishy's character. But then, so we have the words on the ribbon that says, hey, this guy's a war criminal. Then in comes Santini. And they tell him basically
disposable ribbon. You only use it once.
Yeah.
And you save it. So yeah, that's kind of, so the type would just look beautiful and bold and dark. And okay, I'm sorry, Dave.
Okay.
Santini comes in.
Santini comes in and he's all, you and Dr. Watson, what's the deal? Yeah. And because it's making it difficult to work here. And they're all like, well, we're getting closer. We know who did it. We just don't have a motive. He goes, oh, you know who did it? Who did it? He goes, well, you did. And he goes, oh, well, I will not disappear.
Yeah. And Angelus, yes, we covered that. That was one of the first ones we did. What was it? The book?
Murder by the Book.
Murder by the Book. And we did that. We covered that one a while back, but you can find it. Anyways, yeah. So they're all at the desk, like Dave said. He goes, go ahead, Dave.
Well, that's it. And then
that's it. See you guys. 78 thumbs up, I bet.
Oh, just one more thing.
Okay.
So then we have like a time lapse, and we have Santini showing up to the Cabaret of Magic Club, which, by the way, we'll see in later episodes. One of them is the Johnny Cash episode where this is actually a funeral home. So Santini goes in and Robert Loge is there and Harry Blanford. And he's all like, he goes, they're about ready to make an arrest. They're upstairs, up in Jesse Drome's office. And so Santini goes up there and he hears through the closed door that I figured out how Santini did it. And Santini is all, I'm out of here. And he runs, he doesn't run, but he kind of skips downstairs.
He's getting out of there, yeah. And a cop steps up and the sergeant pops out. Columbo comes off the stage and he explains that, I'm using the same thing that you used, and continues to go on with explaining everything he did.
Yeah, but I loved it. I love that ending where they're ripping out, papers that all say basically that, this guy is a war criminal. And the first paper that he hands to Columbo, I thought it was really cool. The guy made it like burst into flames.
Yeah, like it's going to be gone and there's no proof here, but burned it. Yeah.
Yeah.
But then Columbo's like, hair, and everybody. So yeah, that was interesting how he did that. He's a magician now, Columbo.
He is. Awesome. He is.
But in the end, he doesn't admit, but they pretty much did he admit it? Like the good old
admitted it. He admitted it because he says,
"I caught me.
I thought I performed the most perfect murder."
Yes, and Columbo says there is no such thing as a perfect murder.
But I thought the ending was so dramatic, especially when he held the ribbon up and he's reading from the ribbon. Dear Immigration
and Naturalization,
this is really Heinrich Mueller or something like that. Yeah. As the great Santini. And then that goes out of focus and we see Mark Santini in focus. And he's just kind of like straightens up and
CM's heard enough, skipping out. Thank you, CM. Story's over. We're just about at the bottom of the hour. Thanks, CM. You take care. Until next week. But yeah, it's the disposable ribbon that solidly gave him away, but Columbo knew from the beginning, from the pick lock. But Yeah, Dave, a very good episode. Again, a little bit different than the earlier ones, but I still love it. Yeah, it's fantastic. I mean, again, each and every time I watch Peter Falk, like I said, I go, "What the fuck? This is great," you know. So, yeah, good stuff, Dave.
Cool.
Yeah, how you doing?
Hanging in there.
Yeah, things going good.
Can't complain.
How'd the duster go?
It's right
On the shelves, the books.
My,
Remember you mail ordered for that perfect duster, it was called, the perfect duster. I told you about it on Amazon. It goes for a good penny, but it's good.
the hint again, no tell, no smell stuff.
Dave's like, what are you talking about? Don't pull one of those where you're making no sense whatsoever and everybody leaves and goes, listen, it's time to go.
And this is why we only have 58 thumbs up.
Well, we've got about 80, so we're good.
All right.
Yeah.
And by the way, even last week with the reverse speech, we had over 1,000 people watch that show. That was great.
Yeah, listen, it was an interesting topic, but we kind of started to go off on a tangent of different guests on the show at the end, which was definitely. When is next discussion Sunday, Mark Thomas? Mark Thomas, me and Dave, we kind of rotate, and next week we're going to be talking about Kolchak. I think it's episode 9.
Yeah, episode 9.
The Spanish Moss Murders. It's almost like a Swamp Thing type episode. I don't know, something like that. So we're going to do that. Then we're going to be with the Columbo Confab group podcast.
With that group, we're going to be discussing a episode called, it's with Ruth Gordon. It'll come to me in a moment.
Okay. But we do switch off and on, Mark Thomas, between episodes. And then I think after that, we'll be doing the Wild Wild West. But yeah, so it's Kolchak, another Columbo, and then I think a Wild Wild West if I talk to Dave after this. So yeah. So yeah, say. And then me, I'll be talking Night Gallery next Saturday, episode oh my God, am I up to episode 5? I think. Something like that. So yeah, that's kind of what we're doing. And I do have a Paranormal in the Night coming up too with Katie Page, a ufologist. And yeah, there's all different kinds of stuff on here. But CBS Radio Mystery Theater overnight tonight. And it looks like you got something else to say, Dave. Do you see that?
Try and Catch Me is the Columbo episode we're going to discuss with the Columbo Confab people.
What season?
I think it's like season 6 or 7. It's one of the later episodes.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah,
so I'm going to be able to.
It's, oh my gosh, it's Ruth Gordon. It's with
nice.
One of the Hemingway.
Kelsey Grammer?
No, Kelsey Grammer.
Oh, okay. No, he doesn't play in it. These two. Columbo had a pretty good salary as well, $300,000 per.
It's not bad for the 70s.
Yeah. Well, it depends what. I mean, Columbo extends from 1970, I believe, somewhere or to.
Yeah, but it's one of those things where it's real similar to Basil Rathbone, where Basil Rathbone's "I don't want to do this anymore" type of thing. Peter Falk wanted more money. He refused to go to the set sometimes. There were a few actors who, like Suzanne Plachette, after she acted in one of the episodes, said, "I don't want to even be your friend anymore," because he was such a jerk. He pushed to direct some of these episodes. The very last episode of season 1 he directed, which is not necessarily known for being a great episode. He is executive producer in all of the ones from the 90s, or at least co-executive producer. But it's also, I think, one of the reasons that we have shows today that are like CSI, where it's a group of people rather than one particular actor that holds the show together.
Gotcha. Yeah. No, yeah. And that's a good thing about some of these shows from the 70s where, you get to see a lot of these same people. That's why I like The Love Boat. It's kind of fun, romantic and new, all that good stuff. So, listen, I'm not saying I love it either. Some of them are fun.
let me show you this. Throw this one out to you. What about Love American Style? Do you remember that?
You know what? That goes back a little farther. I don't know. I don't remember it quite well, but I remember the theme, and I
Yeah.
know my parents watched it.
Likewise.
But and they were funny comedy skits. But yeah, I think I'm sure YouTube has some. I should check it out one of these days. Maybe we're missing out on something that was great, but I don't think it lasts all that long. And that's 1970s dollars. That buys an awful lot. Thank you, Freddie Miranda, and everybody in the chat. Thanks for all the thumbs up. Thanks for all your support, you guys and gals and everybody. And catch me and Dave next week for Kolchak, the Spanish Mouse Murders, and another Twilight Zone on Saturday. So there you go. I can't wait to talk about Wild Wild West.
Oh, I can't wait to see if you like it or not. I think it's amazing.
Listen, I love steampunk like crazy.
You'll love it.
I love Westerns. So how can I not like the Wild Wild West?
Civil War era.
Yeah, and I'm surprised I've never really watched an episode. It's funny how great shows escape your fingertips and you never see them. But anyways, we are going to do that. So take care. Last words, Dave, anything?
Don't watch the Super Bowl.